Web of Stories. My name is Melinda and I'm here with my weekly reading vlog. We're gonna go ahead and get started with that, and then I'll pop back at the end with like a little talk about what's going on now and what I read this week and what I am currently reading. So I started the Maiden. It is historical fiction. It is about a noblewoman. You learn this like in the first sentence, who has been sentenced to death for killing her uncle, her uncle / supposed lover. So that's what the setup of this is. And it's told through two viewpoints. There's Christian, who is the noblewoman, and there is Violet, who, as far as I know so far, is just a prostitute in Edinburgh. Alternating viewpoints, or not alternating, but two viewpoints. And I will say I love the writing. I love the fact that Violet and Christian have two completely different voices in this book. So I'm only yay far into it so far, so I can't say much else, but so far I'm really enjoying this one. I know, I'm not wearing my glasses. It is Saturday, the 29th of July. I finished this book. I've been reading it pretty much all month. It's one of those books I liked until the very last section. And the last section was so different that I was like, what just happened here? So I'm still kind of thinking about it. There you go. That was my priority read for this weekend. So I think I might actually put the mdawnott as my priority read for tomorrow. And see if I can make a lot of progress in that, because while that one doesn't come out until the end of August, I realize I have net galleys for like 4 or 5 books that come out on September 5th. So I need to start working on those. One of which is the new Two Rivers book by Cleeves. So I'm really looking forward to that one. In other news, just want to put it out there. I actually went to bed. Well, lights off by midnight last night. So yay me. I'm such a child with my bedtime. But anyway, that was a big accomplishment for me. Anyway, I just want to let you know, I finished this one. My Zambia book is done. And I am currently listening to my Japan book. And I have to pick up my Spain book from the library. And God, I hope Zambia beats Costa Rica. Oh well, we'll see. I'm putting my kids in this. I don't want their picture taken. But we're at the zoo. They've been wanting to go. And so that's what we're doing this morning. We're at the Oregon Zoo. If we see anything cool, I'll share it with you. A black bear sighting. See if they're gonna do anything cute, or they're just gonna look around. It's not that hot today, so they're not gonna go for the water. That one's getting ready to show off or something. We have a cougar sighting.
Walking around searching for things. You know how
Here's one of our elephant friends come to say hello. Look at this thing. It's totally photogenic. She's saying, come, take my picture. Look at that. This female peacock seems to wonder what all these people are doing in her area. Yeah. It's just eating stuff off the ground. Why did the peacock cross the road?
Yeah, it's a peacock.
To my worst nightmare. Good morning. It is Tuesday, August 1st. Rabbit. I'm about to film a couple videos. I thought I'd do a vlog first. I did not get my monthly wrap up done yesterday. As you saw, we went to the zoo. We spent the morning at the zoo. It was very nice. We had a lot of fun. But then that cut into reading time. So I did finish one more book yesterday, which was Learn by Heart by mdawnott, which I will talk a little bit about in my wrap up, but I have a full review of that coming later in August. I think the Monday before the release date. And I don't have my glasses on. I just realized that I am a horrible glasses wearer. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I will go get my glasses after I finish this vlog. And so anyway, I'm going to do my monthly wrap up, and I'm going to do the review for Learn by Heart. Oh, my hand's like really close there. Look at that. Anyway, other news. I saw the Booker long list. Have not heard of a stinking one of those books. I feel very out of it. I don't know if I'm going to make an attempt to read them. I've got so many books on my TBR. I might just wait to see who wins and then read that. That's me. I always like wait to the last minute, let everyone do the work, and then like swoop in. Anywho, so I don't know. I'll take a look at the books and see if anything speaks at me and put it on my list now if it does. If not, I'm going to wait to see who wins. There's just too many books out there to read. So yeah, otherwise reading's going well. Zambia has been knocked out from the Women's World Cup, which is my country for the Women's World Cup readathon. Problem is I'm not exactly sure who knocked them out because they beat Costa Rica, but neither Costa Rica nor Zambia made it. So I'm not sure who my team is now. We'll have to figure that one out. What else is going on in my life? Nothing much. It's just, we're in August, so we're getting into that swoop to go down for the kids to go back to school. I feel like this summer's gone. It's been, because we haven't really done anything. We haven't gone anywhere or taken any vacation this summer. So it just feels like a weird summer. As I said, we had been planning to do a big road trip this summer, and then my husband's company, it wasn't a good time for him to leave. So we didn't do that. Anyhow, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my life. I do remember what I was going to say. So my son, who's going to be 13, is almost a teenager and is now going through that phase where he doesn't want to be on camera. So he went from wanting to be in every video to not wanting to be in any video, which is why you haven't seen any lit chats with Chris. Knowing him, he'll change his mind. So they may come back. But what I thought I might do is like turn it around. And I think I need to use my community tab more often. And so I think I'm going to do it on Mondays and Thursdays. I am going to post on my community tab. So starting this coming Thursday, I'm going to post a question for my lit chat to see what you guys think. A random one. I'm just going to pull out and do it randomly. So we'll see. Yeah. What else? That's about it. Yeah, I'm going to go get my glasses on because I need to get in the habit. Problem is during the summer, I don't like things on my face. So it's hard to adjust to that. I'm gonna go get my glasses and I'm gonna go film a bunch of other stuff. So I'll see you when I see you. Excuse the noise. My husband has the TV up very loud in the other room, but it's Thursday night. I finished 2 books today. I'll go over them tomorrow, but one of them was Let the Hurricane Roar by Rose Wilder Lane. And I said I was gonna do a vlog on that, and I have some vlog videos, but it honestly wasn't that interesting. So I'm not gonna do that. I'll just talk about it tomorrow, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and maybe spend the rest of the night working on a book. I might finish another one tonight, so we'll see. So that was my week. It is now Friday morning, the 4th of August. I think we're heading into kind of a warmer weekend, so we probably won't be doing too much. If you can hear anything, that's because it's my son or someone watching something very loudly. Sorry about that. At some point, they'll be back in school. Anyway, so yeah, I have my library book club tomorrow, so that will be fun. I talked about doing the lit chat, and then like if you noticed in the video, I said I would start it on Thursday, totally forgetting you wouldn't see this video until after Thursday. So I'm going to start it on Sunday. There's actually 2 questions per card, so I'll do like a question Monday and a question Thursday, and then do another card the next week. We'll see how this goes. I need to use my community tab more often. I need to check people's community tabs more often. So this is a good kind of reason for me to do that. So anyhow, back to the reading for this week. I finished 3 books this week, although I have 2 books I'm going to finish today probably, but 3 books this week. That's still good. The first one was Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. So I did this on audio, and it was my book for the Women's World Cup because I had to read something from Japan because Zambia lost to Japan. I still don't know who my country is, but that's okay. It gives me a chance to kind of catch up. So I really enjoyed this. It's kind of like if Sheldon Cooper were a Japanese woman who loved working in a convenience shop and had to deal with it. That's probably the best way to describe it. It was a really quick listen. I quite enjoyed it. It made me really angry at times, but it made me angry in the ways it was supposed to make me angry, so I can't complain too much. I enjoyed it. I think everybody has read it or listened to it by this point, but if you haven't, give it a try. And then the next book I finished, finally, in time, was Disability Visibility, which for some reason is hard for me to say. And this was edited by Alice Wong. And this is just a collection of essays from writers with disabilities about life in the 21st century. It is for my book club tomorrow. I'm always a little apprehensive about book club discussions that are about essay collections or short stories. I think they're a little hard to do. However, the librarians who facilitate our book club are really good, so this might be really good. I don't know. We'll see. The book itself was good. I highly recommend it. I had to catch myself on my own ableism at times, which is probably a good thing for me to do. But definitely, if you're looking for something by disabled writers, I would recommend Disability Visibility, edited by Alice Wong. And then yesterday, I'm going to kind of look up and find if I can find a cover for this book, because the cover I had, you saw it, it was a library thing. I finished Let the Hurricane Roar by Rose Wilder Lane. And as I had said before, I was going to do a vlog of reading it, but then it wasn't that interesting, so we're not going to do that. Background on this story. Laura Ingalls Wilder had written I have books stacked on top of it, so I can't hold up my big thing of Pioneer Girl, but she had written a manuscript of a biography of her life that she wanted published. And her daughter, Rose Wilder Lane, who was an established writer, had shopped it around and wasn't able to find a publisher. And so it came back, but someone had said, why don't you make a children's book or something like that. The idea was to make it, they started from that, they then decided to make the Little House on the Prairie book. So they had done Little House in the Big Woods and Little House on the Prairie. And then Rose Wilder Lane, who had very flexible ethics, decided to take her mother's manuscript and sort of mine it for stuff for her to write about. So she wrote this book, Let the Hurricane Roar, which if you've ever read On the Banks of Plum Creek, they're scarily similar. This is about, there's no Laura in this. This is an adult novel about Charles and Caroline, who go and they live in a dugout on the banks of Plum Creek. And what happens? Yeah, so when this book came out, Laura Ingalls Wilder was so furious with her daughter that they quit speaking to each other for a big enough period of time. If you listen to the Wilder podcast, they say there's people still alive in Rocky Ridge, Missouri, who remember them not talking to each other. And then they somehow made up and they got back to the Little House books, and Farmer Boy was sort of their peace offering book, which is probably the weirdest book in the Little House on the Prairie books. There's this very weird scene with he finds all this food. It's really weird. Anyway, so I wanted to read this book to see if I could figure out why Laura Ingalls Wilder was so furious with Rose Wilder Lane. And really, I can only come up with two issues. One is that Rose Wilder Lane totally stole from her mother and published when her mother was trying to become a writer of her own stories, and Laura had stole it, which that in itself is bad. I mean, I can understand Laura Ingalls Wilder being very upset about it. The other thing I saw that I think might have been a factor is in Little House books and in reality, Charles and Caroline had a number of children, and their first child was Mary. And then they had Laura, and then they had Carrie, and then they had a little boy named Charles Frederick, who died. They called him Freddie, but he died. And then they had Grace. In this book, they have a child, and the child is a little boy that they named Charles. And in real life, her brother's death was very, very painful for Laura. And I think seeing that in this book might have really been too much for her. Those are the two things I could find. Otherwise, I could definitely see reading this, having read all the Little House books, and then reading this, I can see where Rose Wilder Lane's influences in the Little House books. She did have her moments. There are some, what we would call racism in there. There's also some libertarian screeds because she's Rose Wilder Lane. But all in all, the story was fine. It wasn't very meaty. It didn't feel like a complete story to me. But to be fair, at least the first two, Little House in the Big Woods and Little House in the Prairie, especially Little House in the Big Woods, didn't really feel like a story either. So I don't know. I just wanted a little bit more meat to this one. I kind of felt like it was a little light, but it was still kind of fun to read. I could tell that Rose Wilder Lane was a little bit more for the sensational than Laura Ingalls Wilder was. It was really interesting. I might read the other book, which is Freeland, which I think also follows Charles and Caroline. I should ask my friend Karen because she's reading it now. Should also ask her where she got it because I couldn't find it in the interlibrary loan system. So we'll see. Anyway, I finished that one yesterday. So that is going back to the library, and then it's going to go back to Walla Walla. I do have to say, though, it was really cool. That's the book I had that I got through interlibrary loan that came from Walla Walla University up in Washington. That's a first edition. I was reading a 90-year-old book. I just thought that was cool. So those are the 3 books I finished this week. I shall finish more books next week because I'm so close to finishing 2 that I have right now. So let me tell you what I am currently reading. In print, I am reading, and I had a list. Okay, I got my list back. I don't want to forget anything. So the first book I'm reading in print, and I should have this done today, is The Maiden by Kate Foster. I don't know if this book's available in the United States. I got this from Blackwell, and I got it because it was highly recommended by Janice Hallett, who's actually blurbed right here. And I really love Janice Hallett's books. Considering that Janice Hallett was my recommendation source for this is a little strange because this is nothing like Janice Hallett's books. This is a historical novel. It's very interesting. There is something that I'm having a big issue with, and that is a little bit with the writing. The way I'm trying to do this unspoilery. Well, let me see here. Okay, I'll tell you because it says in the blurb what happens. A man is killed, and there's sort of 2 women at the there's 2 women at the sort of center of it. And one of them, and the one who's been found guilty, and she is going to be executed. And by the way, the Maiden, the title The Maiden, I thought referred to a maiden. It doesn't. It refers to, if you can see this, it's kind of like a pre-guillotine. They called that The Maiden. Anyway, the person that's killed is this woman's uncle/lover. Uncle by marriage. You know, it's not. But this is what irritated me about it is when we are first introduced to the uncle character, she like doesn't like him and she's kind of creeped out by him, but then she starts an affair with him. And I thought that was really bizarre writing. And the whole time I'm like, what made you change your mind? Like that really bugged me. It made me less sympathetic towards the character. The other character who I think you're supposed to feel less sympathy for, I actually feel more sympathy for because I just think she's a more honest character. But we'll see. I only have, as I said, I'm going to finish it today. So I don't know if I'm going to do a full review of this one or not. We'll see. We'll see how I feel when I finish it. And then I actually am starting this today. I haven't actually started. Oops, that's not right. I haven't actually started this yet. And this is also for the Women's World Cup readathon because I have to read a book from Spain because Zambia also lost to Spain, but thank God they beat Costa Rica. I'm reading the first Prehistoric Serial Killer. This is a collection of short stories. I'm really looking forward to it. Haven't started it yet. We'll start it today, so I have nothing to say about it. But it is by Teresa Solana, and it is translated from the Catalan. So I think that's kind of interesting. And then last book in print for my Powell's bingo, I'm getting really well at that one. I have to read some poetry, and I actually have like a lot of poetry books I haven't read yet, so I just picked one up. This is by an Oregon author, and I've just started it. It's called Secure Your Own Mask by Shaindel Beers. I think this won like the Oregon Book Award for poetry a couple years ago. But yeah, I just started that. I usually go through these pretty quickly, so I try to read some poetry. A couple years ago I was reading more than I am now, but I do enjoy poetry. My cat is being the noisiest eater right now. Sorry. So yeah, I'm reading this. I just started it last night though. And then on ebook, I have 2 going. The first one is The Last Ranger by Peter Heller. I have never read Peter Heller before, although I have books of his on my TBR, but this one sounded really good because it's about a park ranger in Yellowstone, and I love Yellowstone, and my husband loves Yellowstone. He would love this book if he ever read, but it is a murder mystery So the writing is fantastic. It's beautiful and it's evocative. It brings Yellowstone to life, and it's just gorgeous. I wish there was a little more action. There's so much description. I wish there was a little bit more action. There is a mystery there, just not horribly invested in it because I keep getting flashbacks. I keep getting descriptions of things that are beautiful, and I enjoy those descriptions. But I kind of want the story to move on. So we'll see. I'm going to finish that one tonight too. I will probably still read something from Peter Heller. Probably. What I would say is this is like a much more sedate William Kent Kruger book. That's what I would say. And then I also have a NetGalley arc going, and it's one I was actually really looking forward to. And this is The Raging Storm by Anne Cleeves. This is the third book in the Two Rivers / Matthew Venn series. I've heard it called both series. It's set down kind of in the south of England, and I really like this because Matthew Venn, who is the main detective on it, is a really interesting character. So he was raised in a very strict religious group. I'm not going to call it a cult. I don't think it has all the hallmarks of a cult, but it is definitely a very strict sect. I would say not as far as the Amish in the United States. They're the Brethren, which I think do exist in the United States, but they aren't a very big community. But he's from that community and he left it, and he was kind of shunned from it. His father has died. That happened in the first book. His father dies, and that had nothing to do with the mystery. But his mother's still alive, and he's kind of with his mother. He's trying to make a relationship. But not only did he leave this community, but he is also married to a man who seems like a really cool guy. Just want to say, Jonathan's very cool. So he has a lot of that conflict within his character. And that comes to play, so far it's come to play in all three mysteries. And in this one, he's sent to a town where there are a lot of brethren. And so he's dealing with a lot of people who are part of that congregation. And what happened was there was a storm coming in, but a rescue boat went out because they heard reports of a boat stuck somewhere in a little harbor or something. And they go out to get it. And when they get there, they find a dead body in it. And so they bring it back, and it's a murder, and they have to investigate it. And of course, a big storm comes in. That's the Raging Storm. So yeah, I'm about maybe a third of the way through it. So they're still figuring things out. As usual, the side characters are really good. They're really interesting. The community is really interesting. The guy who died was a local celebrity. He was a television adventurer guy who's on nature shows or something. So yeah, I don't have a good beat on who did it or where it's going. So we'll see. But I have really liked this series by Anne Cleeves. And it's the only Anne Cleeves I've read, although I do want to start both the Vera and the Shetland series, but oh my goodness, I have so many books to go, so we'll see. But if you are looking for a new series to start, there's so far only, there's 3.5 books because there is a novella in there. The Two Rivers or the Matthew Venn series by Anne Cleeves is really good, so I'm enjoying that one. And then finally on audio, because on my Pals Bingo card, I have to read something that's not your style. And then on another one of my challenges, my Storygraph challenges, I have to listen to an audiobook with a full cast. So I'm double dipping here. And then another one, I have to do a romance. And romance is not currently my style. So I'm listening to Love at First Psych by Cara Bastone. I first heard about this on the Audiophile podcast. They talked about it, and it's a performed full cast thing. I don't remember everybody in it except for the main guy is the guy who was the voice of the bad guy in Frozen. Something Fontana, Silvio Fontana or something like that. So he's the main guy. But it's kind of like a When Harry Met Sally setup. So these two students, they're college students, and they're in a psych class, and they're working on a project where they have to interview couples about how they met, and they're trying to determine whether love at first sight exists. And one of the main characters thinks it does, and the other one thinks it doesn't. So there's a lot of banter. But you get those, in the movie When Harry Met Sally, they have those couples that come in and are interviewed. It's a lot like that. So I mean, it's fine. It's fine. Romance is just, they aren't speaking to me right now, and that's fine. That's fine. I went through a period of time where that's all I read. So, it's short. It passes the time, but yeah, there you go. So that's what I'm reading. As I said, I have 2 books I'm finishing today, so I will definitely have a new batch of books next week. Also, I just want to tell people, if anyone's on Threads, I am on Threads at Web of Stories, and I'm actually quite enjoying it because it's like early Twitter before it got toxic. So yeah, if you're on Threads, look me up, Web of Stories. It's in the down below information box, the little description box down below. And it's also at the end of this video, so you can find me. Anyway, if you made it this long, thank you so much. And give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.